Welcome to Discovery Watch with John Kaiser.
I'm Jim Goddard. Welcome back to the show, John.
Jim, I'm glad to be back.
John, on July 24th, Alexandria Minerals held its annual meeting to decide who will run the company. What was the outcome?
It was a pretty close call. The management group led by Peter Gundy and with the backing of Eric Sprott, they did prevail of the 290 million shares cast, which is about 60% of the 480 million or so issued. 56% was their tally, but the surprising part was the 44% that Eric Owen's group managed to muster. That's 128 million shares that were cast for the Founders Group. So this was not a Bay Street cakewalk. They had to fight, and I suppose without Eric Sprott's support, this would certainly not have gone in Bay Street's favor. Now, one of the interesting things that has come out, which was not really made public during the run-up to the July 24th meeting, is that Agnico Eagle, which apparently owns about 28 million shares that it had accumulated over the years as it put in private placement money, it actually backed the Founders Group. And I suppose if more people had been aware of that, they might not have cast their votes in favor of the no skin in the game proxy group battling for Bay Street interests. But as we mentioned in a prior episode, if the Founders Group had won, they would have had this hostile block of 160 million shares hanging over the market, 500 million shares issued, the stock at 4 cents. It has started to creep up since the outcome was press released. Probably within a couple months, we'll see the original strategy of the company back on the table, a possible acquisition by Probe Mines, which has the Val-d'Or East project to the northeast, where it has an 85,000-meter drill program underway, recently raised $25 million, has the full backing of Bay Street, and this would certainly buttress its land position in that area, give it a much broader range to explore with its healthy treasury. But it is sad to see a founder group eventually squeezed out on terms that should not make Bay Street proud of itself. But given that the company was reaching a point where it would have had to have 10-for-1 rollback and start all over, and we know what happens after a rollback, this may turn out to have been the best outcome for minority shareholders. I would suspect if we see a 10-for-1 merger with another party like Probe Metals, you'd end up with $1.20 stock, but if it's 10 cents, better than the 4 cents it was a couple of weeks ago and better than the 5-6 cents now. I think that's the way this is going to end up, but it was a much closer race than anybody would have thought.
We'll have more with John Kaiser right after this.
Cypress Development Corp's flagship lithium project is located just east of Albemarle's Silver Peak mine in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. A 12-hole exploration drill program for lithium-enriched claystone on Cypress's 100% controlled properties is now underway. Cypress Development Corp trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the Pink's CYDVF, and on Frankfurt's C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
Aben Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the Pink, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Aben's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at abenresources.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with John Kaiser. John, when can we expect results from InZinc Mining for its West Desert Drill program?
That was a question I had when I called Wayne Hubert of InZinc. Drilling had stopped about 4 weeks ago. They have drilled 5 holes. And according to Wayne Hubert, the CEO, we should get the last couple holes in the next week or so with a press release summing up the outcome of the West Desert drilling program, in about 2 weeks. Now, there's two important dimensions to this drill program. We already got the first hole that was released about a month and a half ago, which was the expansion drilling to the west, where where a hole had indicated that even though there was an anomaly projecting westwards, a past hole drilled a couple decades ago came up with nothing, so they assumed the anomaly was spurious. Well, the first hole of the season that they drilled confirmed that, yes, there is high-grade zinc mineralization of the skarn type present with a pretty good indium grade, which, of course, makes the anomaly that is in that area live again. The second hole was drilled about 175 meters east of the known manto mineralization. They wanted to see if that projects. No idea whether that encountered anything. The third hole is the one that took the longest. This was the one that was projecting the hole 43 from ages ago that nipped 3 meters of high-grade zinc, copper, and even moly and silver at a depth of about 650 meters. This was a deep, expensive hole. It took a long time. Drilling really slowed down. They have not revealed anything other than that they did ship it for assay. Apparently they are sitting on the assays interpreting it. When you don't release a hole right away, that's a very strategic hole. You can infer that there's nothing really definitively new and positive in that hole. So the market's pretty much taken the view that the eastern step out at best is inconclusive. At worst, there's really not much down there. We'll have to wait for the press release to see if this merits additional drilling. But with the fourth and fifth hole, they stepped out 125 meters to the west of the first hole and drilled there. And reading between the lines, they're still waiting for the assays. But again, this is the sort of stuff that you can see in the core, whether you have the massive sulfide mineralization. And the fifth hole was drilled from the first hole's location, but at a steeper angle to intersect the system at depth. Now, we don't know the assays yet, or at least they haven't published it, but they have applied for permits on the BLM claims to the west. Now, the property, the original claim group, are patented claims, and in the United States, permitting drilling on patented claims is considerably easier than permitting drilling on BLM land, which is considerably easier than permitting drilling on Forest Service land. So the surrounding buffer claims on the West Desert project, those ones are BLM claims, and they've already indicated that they plan to return to drill out to the west to continue to chase the mineralization. It's going to be closer to surface than the deeper manto CRD style mineralization that they were targeting in that big step out to the east. But we have to wait and see what the grades are. I assume they're going to be good. The West Desert project, even though zinc has dropped below $1.20 a pound, it's still in the money. I published an update last week to my Spec Value Hunter subscribers on this project. And while doing some research at the Sprott conference, I came across the source of a kind of a lingering rumor that we've had that there's another Bingham Canyon scale discovery unfolding in Utah. And it's not yet a Bingham Canyon scale discovery, but there's an Australian company which IPO'd last year called Elderon Resources. It's ASX listed. It has about a $60-70 million valuation compared to the sort of $12-15 million valuation of Inzinc. Inzinc's a relative bargain. But they have a similar scenario about 120 kilometers south of West Desert, where they, if you've got skarn mineralization that's close to surface and some copper mineralization that looks peripheral from a big system. And the geophysics has indicated a deep IP chargeability anomaly. They're drilling a deep hole into it. They started this hole over a month ago and ran into problems with deviation, had to pull it and start it again. And this hole, they expect to have at least the target depth reached by, first or second week of August. So this would be a Bingham Canyon scale system, possibly something similar like this at West Desert, but they've never really pursued that. The Australian company would have hopes that the grade is high enough for copper that they could develop it as a block caving type of a mine. So we'll have to wait and see if Alderan Resources demonstrates that there is a substantial Bingham Canyon scale and grade porphyry system at depth in Utah. And meanwhile, they'll go back to chasing the closer to surface skarn mineralization in a manner that in-zinc mining itself has done for West Desert. In-zinc mining, by the way, right now is starting a modest drill program on the Indy project in British Columbia, where they did sampling and geophysical work last year, and the market's not overly thrilled that money, when capital is so scarce, is being allocated to that project. But maybe we'll find out whether or not Indy has any legs, or whether it should just be put to rest.
We'll have more with John Kaiser right after the break.
I'm Kelly Jennings, CEO of Powerband Solutions. Powerband is a cloud-based provider of auction, inventory, and finance solutions that make buying, selling, and financing vehicles more efficient. Powerband Solutions trades on the TSX Venture Exchange symbol PBX and on the OTCQB symbol PWWPF and on Frankfurt symbol 1ZV. For more information, please visit us at powerbandsolutions.com.
I'm Brian Fowler, president of Blind Creek Resources Limited, listed on the TSX Venture Exchange, ticker symbol BCK. Blind Creek is focused in the Yukon, Northwest Territories, and British Columbia. The company's key property is the Blend Project, one of the largest undeveloped lead-zinc-silver deposits in Western Canada, plus plans to advance the recently acquired, fully permitted historic engineer gold mine in the Atlan District of northwestern BC. Check us out at blindcreekresources.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with John Kaiser. Last week, you updated us about the SIB project of Eskay Mining. This morning, Eskay Mining put out a news release about a geophysical survey just completed by SSR Mining. Is this a significant development?
Jim, it may prove to be extraordinarily significant. There's obviously no reaction in the market. The market's just shrugging, big deal, so they have this anomaly. But the news release was remarkable by its brevity. It consisted of a couple paragraphs explaining that this conductor had been generated by the HeliSAM, the survey that SSR conducted on the SIB property. They've optioned 60%, and where they have a major drill program underway right now. Some of it targeting north of the old Lulu zone, but other which will be in the southern part. This target is a substantial EM conductor. It's about 1 kilometer long and maybe 500 to 600 kilometers wide. It's in a heavily wooded area. Apparently, a survey done in around 2005 when Heritage American had the project generated an inkling of this target, but they never really got around to drilling that. So it was this overlooked target, not followed up in a heavily wooded area, maybe about 1 to 2 kilometers south of the old SIB Lulu zone. And the interesting thing is, back in the 1988 to 89 exploration by Calpine and Stikeen of the original Eskay Creek property to the north, they had the 21A zone, which was mainly gold mineralization, and it just wasn't getting the grades. And they had this EM conductor about 1,000 meters to the north of the area where they were drilling up a storm. Murray Peasant actually managed to drill through winter, despite all the skepticism from Howe Street that this could was possible. But the famous hole 109, it was a 1,000-meter step out to the north of the main drilling area, and that delivered the discovery hole, which turned into the one of the richest gold-silver mine with a significant base metal credit in British Columbia. So maybe history will repeat itself. All the activity has been sort of between the SIB Lulu zone, which they now believe is some sort of a distal puddle from a VMS smoker system, and towards the northern limit of the property. Farther south, work was done when Eskay Mining, when the previous operators controlled the company. There's a big chunk of land surrounding the SIB property farmed out to SSR, which is shared 80% Eskay Mining and 20% Kirkland Gold. Kirkland Gold is also has a 20% interest in the SIB property itself. And Eskay Mining has done its own VTEM survey in that surrounding area. It was more interested in seeing if it could find something similar to the E&L target of Nickel Mountain, the Garibaldi play next door, where I hear that the season has had a slow start due to difficult weather. So this conductor really changes it. It's where you would expect the stratigraphy to be. It is, of course, in an area where the rocks have been thrust westward. So what you see at surface is not necessarily what you get below. So here is a target that has been lit up by this more detailed high-resolution survey done by SSR. And it's a target that, with a bit of luck, could have been drilled 25 years ago and possibly delivered Eskay Creek 2 when Silver Butte and American Fiber were the partners on the SIB property. Judging from the news release, it sounds like SSR Mining will want to drill at least one hole into this target to see what makes it conductive. They'll have spent $8 million by the end of this season. You never know when somebody upstairs is going to pull the plug and say, well, you spent $8 million and you haven't really got a big discovery yet. Let's forget about the last $4 million, regardless of what the geologists Carl Edmonds and David Gale might want to argue. So I think the chances are good that they will move a rig down onto this target to see what it is. And it would be, just like back in 1989, a 1,000-meter step out from the current focus of drilling, possibly deliver, won't be quite hole 109 because they won't have drilled 100 holes to get to that point. But maybe we have a discovery shaping up this fall at the Eskay Mining's SIB project.
John, thanks a lot for the update.
You're welcome, Jim.
We've been speaking with John Kaiser, his website, kaiserresearch.com. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on Discovery Watch are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at howstreet.com. Discovery Watch is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.